I don't know if it's really something that I can decide about, but my films they all come from very personal experiences, which doesn't mean that they are really autobiographical, or if they are, it's not necessarily literal, but I write them alone and I carry them with me from the very first moment where I think of them until the very last, like they stay with me all the time. I'm habited by them completely until they are finished, you know, and I think maybe part of the warmth has to do with how much of me I put in them, also in terms of energy and involvement. I do try to make my films in a way that they really reflect my experience of life in a way that is as transparent and clear and honest as possible. I mean, films are always a reinvention at the end. It's never really transparent because reality is just a chaos, and when you make films, you have to give it a frame, put things together, choose what you're going to say and not say. So it's always a reinvention at the end. But while I do this, I try to transmit a feeling of life as I see it. It did feel like going home to make that film. Before that film, I made Bergman Island in Sweden. Before Bergman Island, I made a film that was shot half in India. So it actually had been a long time that I had not been really shooting in Paris. I don't think I really missed Paris because I lived there and I know it quite well. But I just felt I needed to go back to my roots somehow. It's just something I had to do. I think the films you do in a way against the ones you have just done somehow. Like you try to say something with the film and then you realize, well, you've said that, but there is something you haven't said and now you know you need to say this other thing. Just like Isabelle Huppert, actually, she's not the kind of actress who will intellectualize a character before, and finding the character happens really on the set while you look for the right tone, the right mood, music, rhythm. And I was interested in filming her in a way which I thought was different from the characters we've seen her a lot. I mean, even though the parts were very different from one another, she was a very sophisticated, glamorous woman, but she was always filmed with a distance. I thought it was interesting to see her in a character that is more rooted, like down to earth, more simple. And to me, actually, it doesn't mean that she has less mystery about her. It's almost like the opposite. It's just maybe a different kind of mystery. But also there is a sadness about her that moves me a lot. That not that she's sad as a person, but I mean she has this ability to find a connection to her emotions that's pretty extraordinary, because it makes you feel that she lives the moment. In certain scenes where I was filming her and I didn't know if she was acting or if she was just living the scene, it's really hard to say with her, and that's something that I find very impressive, especially for an actress who's been in so many films, the fact that she could preserve that innocence of her. Well, I think I always try to have the characters of my film do a job that I would like to do myself, and I guess interpreter is the kind of job that I would maybe have liked to do if I wasn't a director. Also, my father was a translator, so this notion of speaking two languages and going from one to another, I guess I grew up with different cultures, being more European than French, maybe, that also. But to me, I think it had to do with her old character, the fact that she's very restrained, like she's listening to people, you know? She's listening to her father a lot, she's listening to her grandmother. She's very, we say in French, effacée, but I'm not sure in English, like, not like a ghost, but she's very transparent until she rediscovers, you know, her own sexuality, her own sensuality, until she falls in love again. I mean, the first part of the film, she spends her whole time taking care of other people, and to me, in a way, her job was like a continuation of that idea, you know, that she was just like, she's in her cabin, you know, in the darkness, and just translating, but people cannot see her, they can just hear her. It's the fourth film we've made together. So actually Denis has been working on half of my films. We've known each other forever. We met when I was shooting late August, early September with Olivier Assayas, and he was a DP for that film where I was this very young teenager, you know, in a film. And that actually has always remained to me as a very strong memory, not only because of the shooting in general, but because of his delicacy and his discretion. But at some point I felt a desire to know him better, and there was this memory of the shooting that was very strong, and that's how we started working together. And yes, I became very attached to him. We are exactly on the same page in terms of the desire of creating a style where you can never feel the lightning, but sometimes we would wait for hours for some light, for the natural light, but we have the same relationship to light, I think. I've always tried to create a style where the camera is basically invisible, and he follows me on that path, and so yes, we have a very strong complicity. The art house industry has been very vulnerable recently for many reasons, and it's very important for us filmmakers to feel that the films are alive and that they have an audience abroad. The New York Film Festival has been inviting my films a lot, and I feel extremely privileged by that, and it obviously means a lot to me.